Good morning, everybody. How are you? I hope so that you all are doing well and happy also. Myself, Sunil Pawar, welcomes you back for the new session of 11th class biology. Okay, as you know that we are continuing our fourth chapter, that is the animal kingdom. I think so. You remember in our previous video, we just discussed and learned about the first 5 phylum of the animal kingdom. So now today we are going to move forward for the next classification. Okay, so here in this second part of kingdom Animalia, we are going to discuss this phylum Annelida. But just before this one thing, I want to just recall one feature of the Animalia, that is animals are actually a group or category of the organism which is eukaryotic, multicellular, heterotrophic in nature. Okay, and basically you know that after 2 or 3 phylums they all shows the most complex form of the life. Okay, and mostly in the higher group they used to reproduce by sexual reproduction only. Clear? So now first we are going to take the phylum Annelida. Clear? As you know that this phylum Annelida is made up of these 2 words, annulus and the leadus. Okay, annulus means written thing ring and leadus means the form. That means those organisms whose body form is containing annular structure on its body. Okay, annules means ring-like structure. Clear? So phylum Annelida includes segmented worms, and the term Annelida was first coined by Lamarck in 1809. It includes about 12,000 species of animals. Clear? Before starting this one thing, I just want to give you 2 examples which is very common in our surrounding also. Okay, just like that. One, that is the earthworm. Okay, and second, that is the leech. Okay, one is found in the moist soil. Okay, and it is quite helpful for the farming processes. Clear? While the second is just opposite, that is the leech. It is a parasite, ectoparasite. It is a sanguivorous. It used to suck the blood of the mammals specially. Clear? But both are having this annular structure on their body. Clear? So here we are going to discuss the general features. First of all, habit and habitat. So they may be aquatic, terrestrial and free living or parasite. As you know that basically this earthworm is free living in nature. It is terrestrial, while this leech can be observed in the water, as well as it is a parasite too. Clear? Then body wall. The outermost covering of body is thin and moist cuticles secreted by the epidermis. Okay, this cuticular structure is actually helpful to protect it from the friction and the other adverse condition. As well, it is moist in nature. Okay, this moist surface, body surface, is basically responsible for exchange of gases. Okay, the respiration is actually cutaneous type in nature. That's why it is compulsory to have a moist surface. Okay, which is very richly supplied by the blood capillaries to make the exchange of gases. Now the metamerism. The body is divided into segments or metameres by ring-like grooves that annually. Okay, that is called the metamerical segmentation. And the segmentation is external as well as internal. When we talk about this term, that is the metamerically segmented body. So in this one, a linearly arranged body segments are present in a body structure. Okay, so where it is not only this rings-like structure, not only external, but they used to go internally. Clear? But inside there is a continuous alimentary canal is there. That means this alimentary canal, nerve cord, it may passes from head to tail. Okay. Now next one thing, when we talk about the symmetry, now this annelids on or the previous one, these all are bilaterally symmetrical in nature. That means they are having a single axis of symmetry. Now the germ layers, they are triploblastic in nature. When we talk about the triploblastic term, then it means clear that their embryonic development takes place through the 3 germinal layer, ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. Right? Now the organization and the body plan. Clear? So they show organ system level of organization and tube within a tube body plan. Clear? Just like that, they are having the outer body wall, okay, and the inner alimentary canal like structure. So one is outer tube and second is the inner tube. So that's why this kind of body plan is called as tube within a tube one. Okay. Now then the cephalization. So this shows the true cephalization. Okay, as I discussed in the previous session too, what is the meaning of cephalization? Basic concentration of the nervous system in the anterior most part of the body, that is called as head, is called as cephalization. Remember this word. Okay, then the body cavity, the animals have true coelom. They are the eucoelomates in nature. That means their inner cavity is fully and properly lined by the mesodermal in nature. Okay, now peritoneal layer, it is formed by the splitting of the mesodermal epithelium, and such a coelom is called as the schizocoelom. Okay, so this is general features of this one. Now we are moving forward. That is the next one is when we are going to discuss, that is the skeleton. Okay, so basically this coelom is filled with the coelomic fluid, and this body cavity acts as a hydrostatic skeleton for the animal. There is actually absence of any endo or exosolid skeleton. Clear? But inside its coelomic cavity, a fluid is filled inside it, which gives it a solidness, which gives it a specific body form. Clear? Then the locomotion, basically annelids move by the paired lateral hollow fleshy appendages in each segment called the parapodia. Clear? And for chitinous-CT, either parapodia are there. This parapodia are flat like structure, while this CTs, chitinous-CTs are present in each segment. Okay, and it is basically responsible for holding the ground, and then later with the help of the muscular contraction expansion it move forward. It is actually used to crawl over the ground surface. Okay, and even this parapodia are used to swim like this nares. Okay, so when it is aquatic, then they are having the this parapodia, and when it is terrestrial in nature, then they are having the CTs in each and every segment. Okay, which is used to walk upon it. Clear? Now then we are going to discuss the digestive system. The digestive tract is straight and complete, starting from mouth and ending with the anus. So this alimentary canal is very well facilitated for intake of food, digestion of food, absorption and storage of food, and then later on the defecation, that means the releasing of the waste food material also. Clear? So a proper modification in this tubular structure is found. Clear? Now then the respiration, as I told you, it is cutaneous in nature. In the organism, those who are terrestrial, clear, but those who are aquatic in nature, basically they reproduce by the gills or the parapodia. Then the circulatory system, they are first animal that have a closed circulatory system. Clear? That means the blood will never comes in the open cavity or the pouches. Okay, it always travels within the tubular structures and the capillaries. Okay, then the excretory system, the excretory organs are nephridia in each segment, which helps excretion and osmoregulation. Clear? Two functions are basically performed by this nephridia. Basically there are septal nephridia are there, which is present in the septa of each segment. Clear? And it is just nothing thread like structure which is responsible to collect the fluid from the body, then they use to filter them, and then the waste material is released out by the nephridial opening. Clear? And it is also responsible for maintaining the osmoregulation. What is osmoregulation? The maintenance of the water and mineral and salt balance in the body is called as osmoregulation. So by controlling the concentration of the which one thing, that is the waste material, okay, that the dilute as well as the water, it maintains this osmoregulation too. And the nervous system, it contains a nerve ring around the pharynx and a double ventral nerve cord with ganglia. Okay, so this nerve cord started from the cerebral nerve-like structure which is present at the antermost part, just behind the mouth. Okay, and this alimentary canal is just passes through the center. Clear? And then solid nerve cord is start from this cerebral ring and reaches to the tail. Okay, and each segment it is lateral nerves which is ended in the form of the ganglions. Clear? And in each septa, in each segment, the ganglions are there. Okay, then the reproduction, and remember this nerve cord is ventral in nature. Now this reproduction, annelids basically produce sexually. They are unisexual in nature, and sometimes they show the sexual dimorphism also. Okay, but remember this earthworm is a bisexual in nature. It is hermaphrodite in nature. Okay, in the same organism both the two reproductive organs are present, and it is the two different genital opening, the male as well as female genital opening. But remember, even for the fusion of the gametes and for the fertilization, it needed two different individuals. Okay, and they just pass out and attach in the opposite direction, and both are used to release the sperms in the other organism. Clear? So this sexual dimorphism is also present in this something, just like that when you talk about this Nereis. Okay, now then here we are talking about the next phylum, that is the phylum Arthropoda. Clear? The word itself, that is the arthron, and podas mean the foot. Clear? Arthron means with the jointed. Okay, so the category of the animals having jointed foot is called as arthropods. Okay, it includes the first and simplest segmented animals, and they are commonly called as jointed legged animals. Okay, it is the largest group of animals that include about 10 leg insect species, 1,02,248 spiders and scorpion species, 1,03,248 the arachnoid species, and near about 47,000 crustacean species, representing about 80% of the total known as species. Okay, so nearly 80% of the total living animals is contributed by this arthropod. Clear? And you know that what is the reason behind it? Because these arthropods are highly adapted for the different type of habitat. Okay, so they have such a great degree of adaptation by which they acquire the different peculiar feature to spend their life in this kind of different habitat and the different types of conditions. Clear? So that's why they are dominantly present in this nature with this much varieties. Clear? Now when we talk about the general features, the first habitat, they may be aquatic or terrestrial, even aerial too. They may occur as free living or parasitic form, like the bed bugs, ticks, mosquitoes. You know that these are the main vectors of the disease. Okay, and this one, bed bugs are basically sungivores, they are parasite in nature. Ticks are also parasites in nature. Okay, then these body parts, then the body is segmented externally, and it has distinct head, thorax, and the abdomen. Okay, and the head bears many few segments and sense organ. Just like that, even this body is metamerically segmented, but they are internally connected with each other, and they are properly segmented too. When we talk about the symmetry in the body, as I told you, the annelids onward, all the organisms are bilaterally symmetrical in nature. Okay, and they are triploblastic with organ system level organization. Okay, and now we are going to discuss the appendages. Okay, so they have jointed paired appendages which are present in some or all somites or segments, and this perform the various functions like the walking, clinging, climbing, jumping, and the next something, that is the feeding, etc. So this is the arthropods. Okay, now when we talk about the exoskeleton, so now somewhat, as I told you, it is adopted in nature. So this is one of the first type of adaptation we observe as the exoskeleton. Clear? So the exoskeleton is form of thick, tough, and non-living chitinous cuticle. Okay, and the exoskeleton protects animals from mechanical and chemical injuries, prevents desiccation, and also help in attachment. Clear? So you observe these grasshoppers, beetles, okay, mosquitoes, flies, these spiders, okay, these all organisms are having a chitinous cuticle structure on their body, which is hard in nature and which is very effectively protecting them from the frictions and this kind of features. Clear? When we talk about the locomotion, then they have jointed appendages which help in the locomotion. Cilias are found to be absent in the arthropods. Okay, digestive system, alimentary canal is complete. It starts with the mouth and ended with the anus. Clear? And it divided into foregut, midgut and hindgut. So the first division of the alimentary canal for the specific function of digestion, absorption and excretion. Clear? When we talk about the respiration, so those who are aquatic in nature, basically they respire through the gills. Okay, just like this king crab and this one. Okay, and this one, this which one? Those who are having terrestrial nature, they respire through the general body surface, like the gills. Prawn is there. Okay, book lungs, that is scorpions, and the spider is there, which is helpful to exchange the gases through this book lungs and this one thing. Clear? So this is the phylum Arthropoda. Clear? Now here we also observe the circulation. Clear? So basically this circulatory system is open type in nature. Open type circulation means what? They have a body cavity. Clear? In this body cavity, directly this circulatory fluid is filled in it and it surrounds the internal visceral organs directly. Okay, blood will never flow through the tubular structures. It will always travels in the open area like this cavity and the pouches and the sinuses there. Okay, so it is the hemocoel is there where this hemolytic fluid is there. Okay, and this special feature of this arthropods. Okay, this excretion, basically this Malpighian tubules, okay, which is present around the alimentary canal and used to collect the nitrogenous waste material from the hemophilic fluid and then releases it where in the alimentary canal, and through the alimentary canal they release it out. Okay, and the green glands are there who is directly open outside the body through the aperture. It is also responsible for excreting out the nitrogenous waste material. When we talk about the nervous system, then this nervous system consists of nerve ring and a double ganglionated ventral nerve cord. What is the position of the nerve cord? It is ventral in nature. What is the nature of the nerve cord? It is solid in nature. Okay, so remember this one thing. Then when we talk about the sense organ, then arthropods have simple eyes called ocelli and compound eyes. Okay, you know that the eyes of this housefly or cockroach, okay, it is made up of nearly 10,000 units. Okay, when they have a look of you or any image, then it will form a mosaic image. That means not a single image will form, that image will form in the form of the small segments or fragments. So that's why it is called as the, and this single unit is called as ommatidia. Okay, now then this sense organs is aquatic here, this statocyst for balancing in nature, and in their antennas they are having a balancing organ. Now when we talk about the reproduction, then they basically reproduce with the sexual reproduction. Fertilization is basically internal. Generally they are oviparous. What is the meaning of oviparous? They used to lay the eggs. Okay, but the few are viviparous too. Okay, they like this scorpion. And development may be, what is the meaning of viviparous? Those who give birth to their new individuals. Okay, development may be direct or indirect, involving metamorphosis. Okay, I just want to take a stress on these two terms, direct and indirect. Here, direct means what? After giving birth, there is no change in the young one and the adult one is observed. Only growth will observe. There is no intermediate phase in between. Clear? While in the indirect development there is a phase which is called as, which one? It is larval phase. Okay, a larvae is present in between the the offspring who took birth and the adult one. They're like that. You saw this this butterfly. Okay, if you observe this butterfly, then that larvae is a caterpillar larva, an eel, no? And this which one? The adult is a butterfly. Great difference between these two. Clear? So this intermediate phase is called as larval phase. Okay, and this development is called as indirect development. Clear? And the process of transformation from the larval phase to adult one is called as metamorphosis. Remember this term. Okay, now then we will discuss the advancement over the annelids. Clear? So they are distinct head, jointed appendages for different functions, exoskeleton is present, special respiratory organs are there for all kind of medium. They secrete pheromones and well developed sense organs. Okay, what is this pheromones? Pheromones is actually a kind of secretion, okay, which is secreted by the body surface or some specific glands which used to attract the others. Okay, it is believed that, not it is proved that when a female grasshopper releases its pheromone, then male grasshoppers can trace them by 2 kilometers. Okay, so this is because of the sense of smell as well as the special quality of these pheromones. Okay, now here when we talk about the classification, then this arthropod is divided into 5 classes. That is the class Crustacea. You know very well the example is Palemon prawn. Okay, what you call the jhinga, the crab. Then the class Myriapoda is having the Scolopendra. Clear? That is the that is the centipede, Julius, millipede, Insecta, Musca, that is the home fly, Apis, honeybee, then pest locust, okay, and the vector mosquitoes, Anopheles, Culex, Aedes, and this all, the spider, ticks, mites, limulus, that is the king crab. These all are the very well and very well known example of this one. Clear? Now, then here we are going to discuss the next phylum, that is the phylum Mollusca. As the word is given as the molluscus, which means the soft-bodied. Simply, if you want to define this molluscan, then the one special feature is that they have a soft-bodied structure. Simply, the molluscans include the soft-bodied, unsegmented eucoelomate animals. Clear? 3 basic features. Soft-bodied, second is unsegmented, that means you cannot find the appendages in their body. Okay, and they have a very well developed coelom, that is the eucoelomate, and these are called mollusk or shelled animals. Clear? Johnston in 1650 coined the term mollusca and is the second largest animal phylum and include about 85,000 species. Okay, now when we talk about the general features, then first habitat, the molluscas are mostly of marine form like the sepia, octopus, chiton. Okay, some are freshwater like Unia and Pila. Some are also terrestrial form like this land snail, what you call that is the garden snail, and this one thing. Okay, and few molluscans are also parasite like the Glochidium larva, which is a parasites. Okay, then when we talk about the symmetry, so basically they are bilateral symmetrical in nature, but some of them are asymmetrical in nature. Okay, and because they get twisted during their growth. Okay, now when we talk about the germ level organizations, then they are triploblastic in nature and they are having a very well organ system like organization level. When we talk about the body form, then they are basically unsegmented, soft-bodied, covered by the calcareous shell. You saw that shell of the this pilas, or what do you call that, the shank or CP. You also saw that bivalvia or the unio. Okay, now so these are differentiated into head, muscular foot, and the visceral hump. Okay, and the mantle is a soft, spongy, thick fold of skin over the visceral hump that secretes the calcareous shell. Okay, this is the special feature. A mantle is present. What is the mantle? Mantle is a body covering, okay, around the soft structure. Okay, but it is present in between that outer calcareous structure and the innermost soft body structure. Okay, so this mantle is actually used to secrete that outer calcareous shell. Clear? So the space between the hump and the mantle is called the mantle cavity. feather like gills are present in there, which is responsible for the exchange of gases. Okay, now when we talk about the skeleton, then the mollusca generally have shell as exoskeleton. In octopus, shell is absent. Clear? Most of the animals, they are having shell, but some of them are lacking it. Clear? And it is basically calcareous in nature. Remember this fact. Clear? Now then, the body cavity, the coelom is generally reduced, although they are eucoelomate. Okay, locomotion is basically formed with the help of the muscular foot. These muscles are circular in nature. Okay, so they are basically used to creep over the surface. Then this digestion, proper well-developed digestive tract is there. Mouth contains a rasping organ that is called the radula. It is a file-like transverse row of chitinous teeth is present. Okay, so when the food is passes through this one, then it is used to crush it. Okay, and this way it is responsible to make a very fine granules of the moist food. Okay, now then this anus opens into the mantle cavity, and through that aperture it will release out. Respiration is basically taken by the lungs, which is the terrestrial in nature, and those who are aquatic in nature, they perform this respiration by the gills. Okay, excretion, a very well developed metanephric kidneys are there. Okay, now and this bogenous and the cavernous organs are also present. When we talk about the circulation, then open type of circulation is present. The coelom is called the hemocoel. Hemolytic fluid is present there. Okay, and the sense organs, basically eyes, statocysts, tentacles, these are responsible for equilibrium. Okay, and these receptors are, these antennae and these receptors are basically there for a sense of smell and touch. Clear? Then this nervous system, it is not having any brain-like structure, but these ganglions are present, especially the cerebral, visceral and pedal ganglion. Cerebral ganglions are present where? In the head region. Clear? This visceral ganglions are present where? In the visceral body parts, and these pedal ganglions are present where? In the foot. Clear? Especially it is having two dorsal and two ventral very well developed central ganglions, cerebral ganglions. Okay, and these cerebral ganglions are transversely as well as horizontally attached with each other. So finally they form this rectangular ring-like structure. Okay, and then later on continuous series of this ganglion is releases from the lower portion of this one thing. Clear? Then the reproduction, these molluscans are basically reproduced by the sexual reproduction. Okay, sexes are separate, basically they are oviparous in nature, and fertilization may be external or internal, depends on the speciality of the species. Clear? Now when we talk about the development, then it is either direct or indirect. When this larval phase is there, then basically it is strokophore in nature, glochidium and the veligeal in nature. Okay, this Chitopleura, that is the chiton, pila, what you call it, the apple snail, patella, pinctada, you know the Pinctada vulgaris. Okay, this Pinctada vulgaris is basically a bivalvia. Okay, or it is an oyster, which is in general used to develop the world best quality of the pearl. Okay, now and the sepia, what you call it, a cuttlefish, loligo, and the octopus, devilfish. Okay, so these all are the well-known example of this phylum Mollusca. Now we are going to discuss the phylum Echinodermata. Okay, as the word giving its own meaning, echinus and the derma. Echinus means what? The spines, and derma means what? The skin. Clear? The category or the group of the animals having spiniculus or spines-like structure on their outer surface of the body or the skin. Clear? So these skinned animals having the spiny structures on it. Clear? And they are exclusively marine. This Jacob claimed, they coined this term, that the Echinodermata, and it includes near about 6,000 varieties of the species. Okay, now when we talk about the general features, then this habit and habitat, they are basically marine in nature, and some of them are bottom dwellers. That means they used to remain there at the bottom of the sea, and then they move from one place to another. Symmetry, basically they are radial in nature. Pentamerer symmetry, that means from any axis they can cut into the different digestion, then this digestive tract is very simple type in nature. It is complete in nature. Complete means what? It is the mouth and the anus. Clear? Mouth and anus means what? It is complete tract is there. Okay, and then respiration, that is basically performed by the tube feet when it intake the water. Then this water is used to exchange the gases. Clear? And they are also not only helpful in the locomotion but also responsible for respiration too. Then the circulation. This circulation is basically open type in nature, and it is which one thing, that is the hymal system in, okay, because it will take a quite exchange of all of this thing. Clear? Then about the excretion, any special excretory organs are absent, and the waste products are actually diffused out through the amoebocytes like structure. Okay, nervous system, it contains the oral nerve ring as well as the transverse radially nerves. Then the reproduction, this echinoderm is basically reproduced sexually. Okay, and they show the sexual dimorphism. What is the meaning of sexual dimorphism? In this one, the individuals are unisexual, okay, and male and female can be easily identified with their external features. Okay, now like this STDs, and these are the good example of this one thing. Now moving forward, we are taking the next phylum, that is the Hemichordata. Okay, hemi means half, or the semi means half. Okay, and chorda means a cord like feature. Clear? So simply the body structure, it is containing half notochord in their body structure, is called as hemichordate. Clear? These are earlier placed as a subphylum under the phylum Chordata, but now in the new consideration we kept them in a separate phylum, that is the non-chordate. Okay, and they are also called the half chordates. Okay, so this phylum consists of a small group worm-like animals, and when we observe them, then the habitat. So basically they are exclusively marine and mostly live in burrows. Okay, even though they are marine, but they used to make a hole in the sea bottom. Okay, the body symmetry and organization, bilateral symmetrical in nature, triploblastic and very well developed. Organ system organization is there. Okay, then the digestive system, they are having a complete digestive tract along with the digestive glands. Clear? Now when we talk about the respiration, this respiration occurs through the several pair of gill slits. Okay, because as well as the body surface is also responsible to exchange the gases, okay, which is dissolved in the water. The circulatory system is basically a dorsal type of heart, and it is located on the dorsal surface of the body, and the circulatory system is open in nature. That means blood flows through the sinuses and the cavities. Clear? Excretory system, it consists of the proboscis glands, which is responsible for releasing of this nitrogenous waste material. Nervous system is primitive type in nature, and mainly it is intraepidermal nervous plexus are there. Okay, sensations, sensory cells are epidermal in nature, and they are responsible for giving the sense of this one. Okay, reproduction is sexual, they are sexually separate in nature. Development is indirect, like this Tornaria larva is present here. This hemichordate is actually a connecting link between the non-chordates and the chordates. Okay, remember this one thing. This Balanoglossus is the well-known example of this one thing, as well as this Cephalodiscus is also there. Now we are going to discuss the most developed variety of the animals which kept in the group Chordata. Okay, so as you know that it is the most advanced and the largest phylum of animals. In this phylum, this name is actually Balfour. In 1880 he described it, and all the animals are basically characterized by the presence of a cord-like structure that is called as notochord. Okay, and it is found in the larval phase as well as the embryonic phase. Okay, throughout the life. nearly 50,000 living and 25,000 extinct animals of these phylums have been identified till today. Okay. Now, when we talk about the general structure, then these chordates are distinctive in having notochord, dorsal tubular nerve cord, and the paired gills. Okay, these are called the pharyngeal gills. Okay, either in any throughout the life or any part of the life. Clear? Notochord is dorsal tubular composed of the fibrous sheath. Remember, this is the special feature of the chordates, that is they have a dorsal tubular nerve cord. In all the non-chordates we discussed that this nerve cord was ventral in nature as well as it was solid, but it is tubular. Okay. Now, then the chordate possess the notochord either throughout whole life or during early embryonic periods. Clear? The nerve cord is dorsal notochord differ from the invertebrates not only in position but also in the structure. It is single hollow tubular in nature. The gills remain function only in the fill breathing animals, okay, or the gill breathing animals and the hard animals. This during the embryonic development, these gills will fuse with their pharyngeal surface. Okay. In some phylum, this vertebrate or notochord is present only during the embryonic period, and a series of vertebrates soon surround it, and the dermal nerve cord is also known as the vertebral column of the backbone. Okay. So in the higher organism, this vertebral column is very clearly and distinctly observed. Clear? So there are certain lower chordates also there which develop a true backbone of the vertebral column. Okay, these are all the protochordates. It is believed that from hemichordate for these protochordates will develop. Okay, then a closed circulatory system is found. That means the blood never flows in the open areas. Okay, post-anal tail is present, which is a special feature. Bilateral is symmetrical and triploblastic in nature. Coelomate, very well developed, it is eucoelomate in nature. Very well developed organ system or body organization is there. When we compare these chordates and non-chordate, then it is simple. Vertical column is present, it is absent. Okay, central nervous system is hollow and dorsal in nature. It is ventral and solid in nature. Okay, heart is ventral in position, heart is dorsal in position. Gill slits are present, gill slits are absent in the non-chordates. Okay, hemoglobin present in the red blood corpuscles, while here if it is present then it is dissolved in the plasma. Clear? A post-anal tail is found in this one thing, while here the anus is posterior in position. That means after the anus there is no tail-like structure is observed. Okay, so this is one of the basic differences in them. Now, then here this phylum Chordata is divided into the first subphylum. There is a Protochordata, or we call it the Acraniata. A means absence and craniata the cranium-like structure. What is the cranium? Cranium is also called as the brain box. Okay, in which hard bony structure, cavity-like in nature, in which brain is properly safely placed there. Okay, so they possess notochord either throughout the whole life. In some phase of the life, vertebral column does not develop. They do not have cranium and jaw. That's why they also called as agnatha. Okay. Then they do not have paired appendages. This group is divided into urochordates and cephalochordates. Okay. What is the urochordate? Chorda means the notochord and uro means the tail. That means the category of the chordates in which a complete notochord is not present, but it is present only in the tail region. Okay, so basically they are marine, they are sessile, and this notochord is only present in this one. Okay, and adults are always included in the tunic composition animal cellulose. Okay, Herdmania is a very well known example of urochordate. Then we move toward the cephalochordates. Okay, this is the caphil, that means the head, and chorda means the cord. That means the notochord is present in only anterior part of the body. Clear? This group is exclusively marine and solitary. Solitary means they are single in nature. They are small fish-like. Notochord is present only in the head region. Okay, and gonads are present, likewise the amphioxus. Then we move toward the second subphylum, that is the vertebrata or craniata, or it is also called the Graath systemata. Clear? The word craniata itself giving the meaning, they have a well developed cranium, which is a bony cavity or the envelope like structure, who is responsible to protect the brain. Clear? Now all vertebrates are chordate, but all chordates are not vertebrate, because in the lower chordate there is absence of vertebral column. Okay, now, and this notochord is basically replaced by the vertebral column. Ventral muscular heart is there. Excretion performed by the kidneys, fin or limbs are the locomotory organs. Clear? Then when we talk about the superclass, then first superclass is the Agnatha and second is the Gnatha. Okay, A means absent and Gnatha means the jaw. So these jawless animals are kept in which class? Superclass, that is the Agnatha. It is this different classes like the Cyclostomata. Okay, so what are the features of the Cyclostomata? This is actually the ectoparasites on fishes. These are having elongated body with 6 to 15 pairs of the gill slits, sucking circular mouth without jaw. This mouth is having suckers around its leaf-like structure. Okay, and body is divided of the skull and the paired fins are present. Cranium and vertebral columns are cartilaginous in nature. Okay, circulation is closed. They are marine, but basically used to migrate to fresh water for spawning. That means at the time of ovulation they used to transfer themselves to the fresh water. Okay, and after spawning they will die. They will die after laying the eggs. Okay, and this body changes. The larva's metamorphosis and which I think the return to the ocean. Clear? And this lamprey and hagfish is the very well known example of this Cyclostomata. Then we move toward the second superclass, that is the Gnathostomata. As I told you, these are having a very well developed jaws. Okay, jaws are present, the pair lateral appendages are there. They are having the 6 classes, in which the first one, that is the Chondrichthyes. Okay, these are the cartilaginous fishes. That means they don't have bones, but their endoskeleton is made up of cartilage. Okay, body is streamlined in nature. That means they are having a pointed figure, which is helping them to reduce the friction in the water. Okay, pelvic fins in males with this claspers are there. This help in the copulation. 5 to 7 pairs of gills are there. No operculum is present. Mouth is ventral with the teeth which help them to hold. Jaws are powerful. Air bladder is absent. That means they are totally gill respiring in nature. Heart is 2-chambered. Only one auricle and one ventricle is there. Some part of the electric or the poisonous string which help them to protect as well as to catch the prey also. Poikilothermic in nature, or we can call them cold-blooded. What is the meaning of cold-blooded or poikilothermic? The animals who is unable to maintain their body temperature in reference of the surrounding, that is called as cold-blooded. Okay, body has the placoid scales. They are unisexual. Viviparous fertilization is internal. The shark and the stingray is the good example of this class. Which one thing? That is the Chondrichthyes. Okay, then move forward to the Osteichthyes. Okay, it is the next category of the fishes in which they turn from cartilage to bony structures. Okay, the endoskeleton is made up of bone. Skin is covered by the cycloid scales. Okay, different varieties of scale is present on the body surface. So here, what kind of scales are there? Cycloid scales are there. 4 pairs of gill slits are present. Operculum is also present. Mouth is terminal. Air bladder is present and help in maintaining the buoyancy. Clear? Then the heart is 2-chambered. As I told you, one is auricle and one is ventricle. Poikilothermic. Sexes are separate. Fertilization is external and it is oviparous in nature. This angelfish, clownfish, rohu, katla, tilapia, hippocampus, these all are very good example of this one. Okay, next class is the amphibia. Amphi means the both, ambient means the life. That means such animals which require both the two mediums to complete their life cycle, and they are able to maintain their livingness in both these two medium. Okay, so it is called as amphibian. Okay, they live on land as well as move water for breeding. Body has head and trunk. Clear? Tail in larval stage and two pairs of limbs are there, that means they are tetrapods. The digit without claws are there. Okay, then they are poikilothermic in nature. Eyes are with nictitating membrane. They don't have eyelids and lashes. These eyes are covered with the help of this nictitating membrane, which helps them to keep it open in the aquatic medium also. Skin is smooth and moist with the mucous glands. Okay, tympanum is in the form of the eardrum. Okay, that means pinnas are absent. Clear? The heart is three chambered. That means they used to flow the mixed type of blood, two auricles and one ventricles. They collect the two pure and impure blood separately, but it will further mixes in the ventricle. Digestive system is very well developed. Urinary tract and the reproductive tract open into the common cloacal chambers, and the opening is called cloacal aperture. Sexes are separate, oviparous in nature. Fertilization is external, that means the sperm and ovas are released out from the body, and in that medium they used to fertilize. Development is indirect. Tadpole larva is present. The toad and frog is the very well example of this amphibia. Then we are going to discuss the next category, that is the class Reptilia. Reptile means the creepers. Okay, so the skin is dry without glands. Egg is covered by the hard calcareous shell. Body is covered by the horny epithelial scales. It's called skirts. The tympanum is small and no external opening is there. Okay, 12 pairs of cranial nerves are there. That means from the brain 12 pairs of nerves arises. Trunk gives two pairs of pentadactyl limbs with the claws. Okay, in the trunk two limbs are there, four limbs and the hind limbs. Okay, and the heart with three and the half chamber. It is more developed form of the amphibian, and the latter variety of the reptilians having the four chambers. Even crocodiles have the four chamber heart. Okay, respiration is taken place by the lungs. Fertilization is internal. Basically they are oviparous in nature. Shark as well as snake, tortoise, turtles, viper and the lizards are the good example of this one. Then we move toward the aves group. Aves means the birds. Aves mean the birds. Clear? They have the streamlined body and the covered with the feather. This is a special feature of their body structure. They can fly. They can fly in the air. Okay, with the help of their appendages. Jaws are modified into beak. Teeth is absent. That means toothless. This beak is there. Various shapes and size of beaks are present according to the nature of the food. Digestive system has two structures, crop and gizzard, which is responsible for crushing and grinding the food. Okay, this gizzard is highly muscularized in nature. Limbs are adopted for the flight, that is the wings. Hind limbs modified for perching mechanism, swimming or running. Just like the duck, it is used to swim. Okay, this bird they used to hold the branches of this one thing. Okay, the voice box called the syrinx is present to create the voice. Okay, respiration by the lungs. In this lung they have the air sac. Okay, skin is dry with oil glands, and at the base of the tail, which used to spread over the with the help of beak over the feathers, who make them the dust free and the water free in nature. Bones are pneumatic bones. That means the air cavities are present, those who help them to make them less weight in nature. Okay, the homeothermos in nature, that means the body temperature remain constant. Heart is four chambered, oviparous, and egg is having calcareous shell. Fertilization is internal. Okay, but the development is external in the eggs, right? Then we are moving toward the final class, that is the mammalia. The mammalia itself, these are the most successful and the dominant animals today. This mammalia contain about 4,000 species, and they living in all the areas like mountain, forest, grassland, and even the dark caves also. Their habitat is also aquatic, aerial or terrestrial. Clear? The body has head, neck, trunk and tail. They have mammary gland in females working. It It is only working at the time of the feeding. Okay. The external layer pinna is present. It is a specific feature of the mammalia. The skin has sweat glands and the sebaceous gland who secrete the sebum. Okay. Heart is 4-chambered. A double circulatory system is present. Respiration is taken place by the lungs. Body has hair. It is a special feature. Excretion is performed by the kidney, and these are basically ureotelic in nature. That means they release out urea in the dilute form of the urine. Sexes are separate. They are basically viviparous. That means they give birth to the offspring. Okay, and few are oviparous also, just like this duck-billed platypus. Okay, and it is actually called as the ovoviviparous. That means they used to lay the eggs, but later on they used to feed their offspring with the help of mammary glands. Okay, and few of them are marsupials in nature. That means they have pouches, and this pouch is used to develop their young ones. Okay, this camel macaca and this camellias dolphins are the best example of this something. Okay, so finally this all about the kingdom Animalia. Okay, so just learn about all the distinctive feature of the phylum. When we will perform the practicals, then we will have all these specimens in our studies, one at least, the specimen to discuss about all the basic feature of that phylum or class. Clear? So till that, just keep reading, studying, and wish you all the best. Thank you.